talk to you a little bit about how I use data to help us game plan. So we're a huddle team, and I just took a random game during the year, and I made a report. This team was a personnel team, so I looked. First thing, if I know a team's a personnel team, I will go by obviously personnel, and then RO play, if you remember from my last mini clinic, is going to be run, pass, RPO, and screen. So within the pass field, some of the major things you're going to get was our drop back, quick game. This team, all their RPOs were zone-based scheme. When they ran the football and didn't run any routes, zone, gap, speed option, perimeter, and there were one time they ran a screen, an 11 personnel. Again, drop back pass. Now, what this was I found their tendency in pass pro, and their best tendency was a right-left man protection side tendency. So as you can see, when they drop back pass, 74% was to the left in that situation. In quick game, it was 81%, 60% when they were 11 personnel, 63. So it's a little bit less in 11 personnel than what it was in 10 personnel. So I just, for my report, as I look at this, what are they doing? Run, pass, RPO, screen. What scheme, all right, is here? And then is there a pass pro tendency to help me with my sheet initially? And then I can dive into it. What are the drop back passes? What are the quick game? What type of zone runs are they running? What type of gap runs are they running? Perimeter for me is any play that maybe is only a perimeter run, or it could be a perimeter run option with a middle run. So your bash concepts with the running back. Because we're a one-gap defense and we play a lot of man coverage, to me, our C-gap defender has to be the primary defender there on any sort of perimeter scheme. So just going through down here, there was 20 personnel. This team would also be 00, 21, and then 01 personnel. This cut up, I think, was based off 240 clips. I think 4 games. So this was kind of how I start, and this was just normal down. So I get a good sense of who the team is. Obviously, I've seen film because I did the pass pro, but this gives me a general sense of who the team is. So I take this information, I go to my Excel sheet over here, and then I start looking at the different situations. So this is my call sheet for game day. I organize it. Normal downs is over here to the left. Situational football is over here to the right. I have it organized 3 down calls, 4 down calls, 5 down calls, 6 down front calls. All my different coverages will be mixed in here. Then this is where I would take. So for me, this is 40 calls. 15 3 down, 15 4 down, 5 down, 5 6 down calls. Generally, that's what I want to carry at least into a football game as I start to look, again, different weeks or different situations. Then I want to use these calls and plug them in situations. So like 10 personnel, PN10, take one of these calls up here, drag and drop, copy and paste it into these situations. So I have, because this team is 47% 10 personnel, 46% 11 personnel in this situation, I want to have equal amount of calls down here. So I will drag and drop things that I like up here as I watch. And then down below is just within that situation, again, just a reminder of who they are, simply on game day. So my coaches up in the box can be like, okay, this team is a 10 personnel team and they are 40% gap scheme this week. So we'll look at that different stuff. I also, down here at the bottom, is just there are 2 deep subs can help with personnel. I have a column things that beat us, knowing what schemes we run. I'll have even if the team doesn't run certain things. For example, a draw might hurt us because we play or quarterback draw because we play a lot of cover one. So I will have the best things that we have done against quarterback draw and certain schemes right here. And then we have our tempo calls. So much like an offense, we have tempo calls where I can yell in one thing and our whole entire defense knows what's going on. Over here is our third down section. And then this changes weekly. I try to figure out what the offense is doing. But in general, just for this Twitter Live, 3rd and 1 to 2, 3rd and 3 to 6, 3rd and 3 to 7, or 7 to 10, 3rd and 11 plus. What that team did, and then situational football. I'll try to pick the 4 most tendency or 4 things that I think the most important in field position for this week: low, medium, high red, and then the black zone, which is backed up for us, and then who they are within that zone. So how do I get to this stuff, and how does data help me? So one thing that we are doing this off season, and it's the first time that we're going to do it, but I think it will be a good thing for us, is we're going to have a matrix. All right. So what I've done is we're gone through the last 5 years of our defense, and we've looked at all of our efficient plays. So what I've come up with is I want my 10 best calls from our 3 down fronts against zone runs. My 10 best calls against 4 down with our 4 down front, our 5 down, our 6 down. Our 10 best calls versus a gap scheme from all these different fronts. So when I'm looking at data and I know that they are a zone team, I can flip over here to my matrix and be like, yep, here's my, I think they'll do this 50% of the time. Here's my 5 best calls. And I'll drag and drop them over here in my normal down menu. So I've created 40 calls, and I did this last year without using any sort of matrix, but I think this will help us out a little bit just initially for me as a coordinator to be more organized in it, so we're not just maybe week 7 burnt out. Hey, what do you guys like? I'm going into the week knowing these are the best 10 things we do against zone run from our 3 down front. These are the best 10 things we do, a speed option. So I've just created a matrix across the board. Hey, what have we been really good against drop back? What have we done really well against quick game? Sprint out, whatever schemes you're seeing. And then within that, you can be more, hey, what's been great against counter? What's been great against sweep? What's been great against power? For me, I make it super simple. Like a zone run is anything that an O-lineman isn't pulling, that everyone's zoning together. Anything that an O-lineman is pulling, at least one is some sort of gap scheme. So that's where we start, and then we'll look into, well, maybe that team only runs sweep. Okay, this is our best 10 things we've done against sweep in the last 5 years. So for this week, I had to think about 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 20 personnel. This team, again, let me flip over here. They were going to be drop back pass driven. Of 81 passes, 42 were drop back. So 50% of the pass were drop back pass. And 11 personnel drop back quick game. So things I started to think about initially was what was our best drop back pass things we've done over the last few years. So just kind of get in my mind. Again, remember their pass protection was to their left. That was their man side. So I wanted to make calls where I set my best player in our 3-3 stack to the defense's right. So ROS, and again, these aren't our terminology, but I just want to make it simple for the viewer. We wanted to set our right out odd stack, okay? Set our stack to the right. I want to bring our outside stack to the B gap, and then initially, before I watch the film, we can play all of our coverages that are a 4-man rush to that. Now, as I go back and I watch the film, I might think, man, our cover 2 is not very good because they're a huge 4 vertical. team in this situation, and we're not very good traditionally against four verts in our cover two defense. So I might come back after watching the film and be like, yep, let's run our match one slash or our cover three, because that could be really good for us. My next thought, all right, and that's been really good for us because our B gap guy going to the man side, that could be the guard, that could be the running back based on the team. We have a two-way go on the running back or the guard, so that's been a really good call for us and probably our number one out of three down in terms of creating pressure with sacks. My next call was, hey, let's set our stack to the right. Let's have our outside stack and our DN run a stunt. Again, we can run all of our coverages that. Okay, now, again, maybe 11 personnel, they're more balanced. Again, this team was like 60% man protection to the left, which is the defense's right, in certain situations. So let's set our front to the right. Let's bring both outside stack guys to the B gap, all right, and let's play our cover one. So at the end of the day, we're going to at least have one linebacker rushing to the man side, all right, and we'll rush five and we'll play our cover one. Okay, let's set our stack to the right. Let's have some sort of drop eight coverage and play our match one from that. So I just picked up 4 easy drop back pass calls. The next thing that was kind of the most popular thing that they did was they were a zone team. So let's get in our tight front, all right? Let's bring the middle stack and we can play all of our coverages. That was something that's been really good for us over the last 5 years. Let's get in our tight front, let's drop 8 and let's play cover 2. Let's get in our tight front, let's bring in an outside stack to the tailback. That's been pretty good. We can run that with all of our coverages, initially. And then if I watch and I'm like, man, I really don't like cover 1 here, let's play our cover 4 coverage. Let's set our stack to the right. Let's bring our outside stack to the B gap to the A. So maybe there's a tendency of their pass protection to the tailback. Or one thing that's been really good, this has probably been our number 1 call against zone run, is we are bringing our stack backer to the B gap away from the zone, so that tackle now in his stance thinks he's sifting up to that linebacker, but now we're on the line of scrimmage near that guard, and if we can get off the ball quick, that's a tough block for that tackle to get out of his stance, all right? And a lot of times we've ended up in the backfield tackling the running back with this call. Next call that I thought could be potentially good, this was for a gap type scheme, was let's get in our right stack, all right, our odd stack. Let's bring our middle stack backer and let's run a pick on the center. And I think that all coverages could be good there. Let's get in our right outside stack, bring our outside stack backer to the C gap. All of our coverages could work. And again, hey, if I look and I'm like, man, we just need to play cover 4, all right, as I watch the film, I'll change it. Let's have our outside stack pick the center. That's been really good against wide zone for us and pretty good in pass protection. So kind of the general idea as we go down, my last call here is let's be in a 4 down front and let's shift to our 3 down. And then I allow my linebackers to call that once we make the shift. So if we're going to shift multiple times, you're going to get multiple things through the game. Now, I coach our linebackers for this upcoming season, so I'm telling them, hey, when we're in 4 down and we're shifting to our 3 down, this is things that I like, all right? And this is a one-word for us call where we yell this out, we signal in the coverage, and our guys know. We're going to start in a 4 down front, the linebackers can pick, and we're going to shift to a 3 down front, and then the linebackers, based on what coverage we're playing, know the amount of rushers we need to bring. So if we're playing a drop 8 coverage, they don't bring a rusher. If we're bringing a rush 4 coverage, they'll bring 4. If we're playing cover 0, they know to bring 6 guys. So then I get over to my 4 down. Again, this team, you knew that high percentage to throw the football. I want to get in our double 3, 4 down front, and I want to twist both guys. And then what's been good maybe against that call is our cover 2 and cover 3. Hey, I just want to set a right 3 technique because we know, again, the man side is going to be to their defense's right because that's their tendency. and we're just going to run a twist over there, all right? And we're going to play our match one coverage. Let's get double threes. Let's bring a linebacker to the tailback, and let's play cover one, our simblets. So we can rush 5 if the tailback stays in. If the tailback goes out on a route, we're going to rush 4. We should get a blitzer free to the man side if we pick the man side correctly. And I'm still able to have a low hole guy and a high hole guy in my coverage. So just different calls we were going through were set up for the drop back pass. And again, I'm taking these calls from the matrix. Hey, this has been our best stuff in 4 down. Boom. Bring it over here. Plug. Because at the end of the day, I know that these are going to be good calls against drop back pass because they have been for 5 years for us. Whether I game plan that or I called it in the right situation or not, the statistics have told me that our double threes run and twist with both guys has been really good against dropback. So I want to call that as much as possible because that is the team's heavy tendency. Here's our 5 down front. For us, we're 3-3 personnel. So, hey, let's put our linebackers in the C gap. Let's play cover 1. Hey, let's put our linebackers in the B gap. Play cover 1. Again, we could play drop 8 coverages. Let's put our linebackers in the C gap. Let's twist them and play a 5-man rush cover 1. Let's put our linebackers in the C gap, twist them, drop our nose, and we can play our match 1. Maybe we'll have sub personnel there to get a faster nose guard or a linebacker in at nose. Let's be in 3 down. Let's shift to a 5 down front. And then within my 4 down front, you could see we were 5 down, 6 down, 3 down, and we like shift into 4 down because those are things that have been good for us. And then one thing to look at is maybe this team is completely different than everyone you face. So maybe you create a matrix which has only been the good things you've done against that team over the years. So, like I said, if it's P and 10, and I know out of 10 personnel, they're 42% zone, I'm coming up here being like, yep, this is my best call against zone run, and I'm plugging it in, okay? 42%, I'm probably thinking, let's pick a few good things against zone and plug in. Okay, great. What's the next tendency? Oh, it's quick game? This is my best quick game call. Boom. Drag and drop. So I now have 7 calls that are going to be great against about 75% of the things they're going to do. And this is just an example there. Okay, 11 personnel. They're a gap 28% of the time. Well, where's my best gap thing? Okay, this is my best gap call. So I'm taking that and I'm plugging it in there. So I'll initially do all this, and then we go and we watch. We'll watch the film. Okay, let's watch all 10 personnel, P and 10. Are all 7 of these calls going to be good? All right. No, this call is not good. Okay, what is something better? I'll go up, or hey, what coverage do I really want to play in this situation because these are the routes I'm getting. So we'll use our data as a starting point to get us really 40 to 50 calls. From there, we can eliminate. We can add what coverages we like, and then we're plugging in different situations throughout the game. Now, ideally, all right, we're going to do all normal down and third downs on the same day. If the team is anything like they are normal down on third down, we're just going to use these same 40 calls and plug them in on third down because we think, man, those were great things. They're going to drop back pass, they're going to run zone, they're going to run gap, they're going to run quick game in these situations. So we're rolling with 40 calls to start the week. After we watch the film, maybe we've narrowed this down to 30 different calls. And then I think we do a unique way of practicing that our 1s and our 2s are going to get every single one of these calls throughout the week, which that's another Twitter Live podcast kind of in its own. And then I'll use this sheet on game day. I'm on the field, so the one side will be normal downs. I'll flip it over. My other side is going to be third down and field zone. So this is just one way that we'll use data to help myself game plan, and I just think that it helps me early on keep things more organized, because before we even watch the film, I'm going to have 40 starting calls that have been our best calls over the last 5 years, or if it's a team that is different than everyone, maybe the best calls we've had against that team in the last 5 years. So I think that's something unique that we're starting to do that kind of saves you during the season, because you might be, burn out, or just, what should we call? Hey, let's just do something we did last week. And then your kids are going to be pretty familiar with your 40 best calls, and you should rep those calls during camp against your offense. So during the year, you have 40 things in your pocket that you can go to. And again, hey, we show up to the game and that team never ran speed option. Well, speed option might beat us. What is our speed option call? All right. And things that I have found is, this call might be our best zone call. It might be our second best drop back. It might be our third best quick game. So that is my best call of the game if that certain call is within multiple categories. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to send you guys our template here. And best of luck next season.